Okay, I know I'm a bit late, but I just finished the Solo Leveling anime and manhwa after binging it for 2 whole days, and I have a bit to say about it. Spoilers for the series, by the way. So in my time, I've watched a lot of anime and read a lot of stuff from manga to manhwa and light novels. This anime was so good and for so many reasons. A lot of the stuff in this anime just worked really well, as well as the manhwa, which I was actually more impressed with. So let's start with the obvious things, you know, the animation. When I was watching the Igris fight, man, I was so thoroughly entertained. I mean, the fight itself resembled some Mappa type animation, but nah, it was produced by A1 Pictures, which isn't that much of a big name compared to other studios like Bones. And of course, this was by no means a Mob Psycho level consistent series in terms of animation. But man, it was just so beautiful to watch and produced really well. So yeah, that's one thing. Now the story itself isn't something that groundbreaking. I mean, we don't have another AOT on our hands, but the story was done relatively well. I mean, it was done well enough to provide a reason to continue the show, which a lot of series don't have. So yeah, I was actually pretty interested in the growth of the MC Jinwoo and other characters we were introduced to. But I do have some criticisms with the manhwa on the protagonist himself, because he kinda got a bit boring for me as the series went on. Like, each level up felt kind of meaningless as his power was just so overwhelming compared to everyone else. And besides, his shadows did a lot of the work anyway, which isn't bad by the way. That power was insane. I mean, the ability to just steal your opponent's army in front of him is always so insanely cool, as well as just downright funny. Other than the MC himself, the other characters didn't really get much character development or as much as I would have liked. Some of the plotlines really didn't go anywhere, like the reviving of Jinwoo's mother. I mean, she came back, but we didn't really see much interaction with her other than that, to be honest. So that disappointed me quite a bit. And it was the same with his dad too, like he just came back and then died. Yeah, the stakes didn't feel as high as before to me, to be honest, and that could differ for other people and how they experience the show. The story does get a bit repetitive as well, as in stronger and stronger villains just come along and all the other seemingly strong heroes don't get any screen time because in reality they're just too weak to deal with them. And it's pretty much just sungjinwoo against the whole world at that point. And he just keeps winning over and over and just keeps going on. But what I do like about the constant leveling up of the antagonists is the fights that we get. I mean, the action is just done so well within the manhwa, and man, the art, don't get me started on how peak that is. Every panel of the manhwa is just a jaw-dropper in terms of colouring and the actual drawings themselves, and it really is eye candy when you're sat reading chapter after chapter, especially when you're binging the series like I was. The constant reading of it really didn't get boring to me aesthetics wise. Now, I haven't actually read the original novel, so there could be differences between the story here and there, but the main gripes with this series really was the plot, because technically in both the anime and manhwa it was peak for me, but I felt the protagonist wasn't as well written as other overpowered MCs like Saitama for example, or Mob, because the interactions got kinda stale for me, unlike let's say One Punch Man where it's all fresh for each interaction. Now another thing that was so peak about this series was the power system. Yeah, we found out about the lore of the monarchs, which is incredibly interesting, and a new angle that we saw Jinwoo's powers in, and man was at peak. I mean, the monarch storyline was very interesting and the lore of it all was just fun to read, especially when we found out about the architect. And that fight in itself was amazing. So yeah, the series did have some good and some bad moments, but this is how I would describe the overall experience. A fast-paced action fest, and that is pretty much what it is. If you're looking for an anime about story and character development and delicate topics like romance, then I wouldn't really say this is for you. But if you're looking for just a fun time with insane art and action sequences, then this is obviously the series for you. But let's talk about the ending. It's quite controversial for me and it was a mixed opinion. It didn't affect me as much as I thought it would, but it did kind of get rid of all the character development we saw previously, and the characters that we knew previously were pretty much all changed, and that is a shame. I mean, the journey was great and there is another series out now focusing on his son, which is apparently really good, so I might check that out in the future. As for now, I'd give this series a solid 8 out of 10 in terms of enjoyment, because it was a fun watch and a very good read, especially when I was binging it all in 2 days. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up all my thoughts. Let me know what you guys thought of this series in the comments, and any recommendations for series just like this one. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more anime content, because we have some good vids planned in the future. Don't miss out.